dearest listeners, book babes and book bros, welcome to Book Babble. I'm your host, Tanya, and today we have the lovely Lauren O'Brien on the line. Lauren, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello.
Hi. So, can you give us a little bit of detail about like your books, about what you write, anything like that?
Yeah, so I am indie author out of Southern Ontario. Currently live in about an hour and a half south of Toronto. If you know the area, you totally know what I'm talking about. I do a lot of local events. So I am a romance fantasy author. I currently have 3 books out. I have my debut is a duology, Tidebound and Tidekeeper. And then about 2 months ago, my third book, which is a spinoff, came out. It's called Hexed by the Tide. It's a spinoff about one of the antagonists in the main duology. I just got a little obsessed with her and wrote a story for her. Don't have anything else coming out this year, but I'm currently working on a totally new series. It's slated for 5 books. Yeah.
5 whole books.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a medieval inspired. I say inspired because I am not a history buff. So if I say like, oh, it's a medieval, like historical, no one's gonna believe me. Like it's all just vibes. But it is a medieval inspired romance fantasy. Each book goes over like a different couple, so they are interconnected standalones, but it does tell an overarching story over the 5 books, so it is best to read them in order. And without getting like too in depth, that overarching story has to do with blood magic and witches. But the first book is about jousting. It's like a blackmail jousting. Wow, can't even think of what the movie is called right now, the one that everyone knows. I'm blanking so hard. It's my massive comp title. It's the one with Heath Ledger. What
And
the?
Heath Ledger
Oh
and
my gosh,
jousting.
what
Why
is
can't
it
I think?
called? One moment. I'm an idiot. A Knight's Tale. There we go.
I could not think of it either. I was like, hold on a second. What is
I
this?
literally comp this on a weekly basis, and then I get on a podcast and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it called? What is it called? Anyways, so the first book is basically jousting, and the second book is A Lady Knight. Third book is like a dark academia, and then it goes on from there. But yeah, I'm really
I
excited
love
about it.
that you already have like so much plotted out, and oh, I'm so excited for this. The
Yeah,
second you
I'm
said
a
jousting,
planner.
I was like, sold. I'm sold.
I know we'll probably get into this, but I used to be a pantser, and then I learned that that doesn't work for self-publishing. You got to kind of know what you're doing. And then I got into planning, and now I'm just like, I'm really in.
Recently started writing my own novel as well and realized that I am not a pantser. Like I tried to do a little bit of the pantsing stuff, and I got about 2 chapters in and I was like, I can't do this. I have to know like exactly what I'm going to be doing in every single chapter. So
Okay.
to the pantsers, hats off to you, my friends, because like I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I'm very in the middle now. When I used to just like, pants my way through it, it was a lot of plot holes. But still to this day, I cannot start like actually plotting a story unless I've written a 0 draft. Like if I have to sit down and write at least 10 to 20,000 words to learn the characters and learn the world before I can even sit down to plan anything. So I'm
Ooh,
still a little bit in the middle, I think. Like I don't plan every single moment of my book. I never know how my endings work, which stresses a lot of people out.
that would stress me out. Like, hats off to you as well for being able to do that. That's impressive. I feel like I would get lost. I'd be like, what am I saying again? What am I supposed to be doing here?
It's so funny
That's
how
amazing.
everybody works differently.
Brains are such a weird thing. They really are. All right, Lauren. So I brought you on to do our 5-minute AMA babble session. Are you ready to babble?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll put 5 minutes on the clock. You're going to see a timer. And once that starts, I will just start firing questions at you.
All right.
All right, so I always like to start off with something very simple like, what got you into writing and publishing to begin with?
Yeah, so I've always loved creative writing. I was a massive nerd as a kid. I was a Warrior Cats kid, and I got right on to like Warrior Cat and Wolf forums when I was like 7. So that's what got me into writing completely. And then I got into a writing group on before Discord even existed. It's called a website called Chatsy. It was called Pencils to Paper. I'm still actually friends with a bunch of the girls from there, and we were like 13 or so when we met. So that's how I got writing like got into writing and kept writing because of that community. And then I went to school for journalism because I thought that being an author was unrealistic. But with the way the world is right now, my opinion shifted. I do not work in journalism anymore. I hate the news. And now I'm, yeah, an author. So I just decided to go
Fair.
for it.
That's awesome. So, when was the first time you got serious about publishing?
I was 25. It was in 2023. It actually happened very quickly. I had a little bit of like a quarter life crisis when I hit 25. I like canceled lease in my apartment, ended a long term relationship, moved to Ireland. Like I did everything. Like I quit my job. I went crazy. But I had 3 months where I had absolutely like no responsibilities. And that really got me back into writing. And then I was broke, so I moved back in with my parents. And that was the only time in my life where I like, well, since being an adult, that I had the money and the time to actually work on it. So that's what got me back into writing, was having that creative space again. And then it was Christmas Day 2023. I was like, I'm going to write a book. And then I published Tidebound 9 months later. So,
Wow.
yeah. Once I decide to do something, like I will waffle a lot on decisions. I'm very indecisive, but once I make up my mind, like my mind is made.
That's honestly how I am too, and it's the best way to live, I'm not gonna lie. I might be a little bit biased, but that's fine. So, my next question is, where do you draw inspiration from? Because you write a lot of romantic fantasy. So, like, there's a lot of mm, there's some real world stuff in there, but you've got a lot of fantasy elements. So, like, where does
Yeah.
that come from?
I think when it comes to the world itself, I'm really just go off of vibes and what I want to see. I'm a big fan of whimsy and just making things fun. Like working on my current book right now, I'm like, there's not enough magical creatures. If you've read Tidebound, there's so many creatures in there. Like I've created things, I've stolen things. Like there's a kelpie, there's mermaid, like there's so much stuff. And then I was writing the new book, and I was like, they're just horses. Like obviously, there's gonna have to be unicorns and dragons and this and that and that, and it just keeps like snowballing into more and more. But when it comes to characters and like themes, I do take a lot of inspiration obviously from real life. Like Tidebound has an undercurrent theme of grief, and that comes from a personal side. I was a suicide survivor in high school, which means someone very close to me committed suicide, and I've carried that with me. And then by the time I published Tidebound, it was like 10 years after that happened, so I was like, okay, I feel strong enough to really talk about this now. And then same with my current project. It's called Sunfire and Steel. It does have an undercurrent theme of PTSD as well. It's a very lighthearted book, but it is there. So that's where I draw a lot of my themes from, is more the real life. Character wise, my characters are all fake. I know some people who will like base their characters off people they know in real life. I cannot do that. So
Have you ever like wondered if you were gonna do that and someone would figure out who they were in your book?
no, because it doesn't even cross my mind. Like I don't want to be associated with anybody enough to have them in my novel. Like it's partly out of a fear of like representing them wrong.
Yeah, misrepresentation would, yeah, totally understand that. Okay, let's see if we can get one more in. What is your biggest dream and aspiration as a writer?
Yeah, so I don't really want to be a full-time author because of the amount of stress from that. Like I want writing to remain like a creative thing, but my dream would be to be able to work part-time as a barista, because right now I work in insurance. I enjoy it. I don't love it. But my happiest like job ever was before COVID, when I was a coffee like a manager at a coffee shop, and I love that. So my goal is to just make enough money from my writing to be able to work part-time as like at a coffee shop or something that I enjoy, or a bookstore or something like that, and then work part-time doing the writing without having the full pressure on it. That would be my goal.
That sounds so lovely. It's just like a little bit of whimsy, a little bit of simplicity, both together, and
Yeah, I don't
it
like
sounds so
pressure.
lovely.
I say that, but I pressure myself all the time. That's kind of what indie publishing is.
There's a
But
difference in like self-imposed pressure and then like pressure from other people, though.
agreed.
So
Or like
I get
pressure of
that.
bills.
Yes,
Very different.
yes, totally different. So, okay, a little bit more on that. Like, what are your plans for the future? How do you kind of envision writing to get you to that point?
So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that my next series, like I'm wanting it to go over the course of like a few years, right? And this is the first time where I've ever been in a position where like I'm planning that far ahead. Like when I wrote Tidebound, I knew it was going to be a duology, but I was like, oh, that's it, probably. Like, who knows? And then when I wrote Hexed by the Tide, which is a spin-off novel that just came out, it wasn't supposed to exist. I actually wrote it as like a full novel like a couple years prior, and then got stopped halfway through because I was like, I don't know where to go with this. And then I had this realization. I was like, oh, it doesn't have to be a full book. It can be a novella. So I chopped it in half and just like did it. But so all that to say, this is the first time where I've ever actually planned really far out in the future. Like I have bought or commissioned 2 covers that aren't even going to see the light of day outside of my friends until early 2027, which is so
Wow.
freaky. Like I just got developmental edits done. I have like I'm planning on publishing or finishing the first 2 or 3 books in the series before I even publish one of them, so that I can kind of like rapid release and don't have to keep chasing those deadlines anymore. So I haven't really thought past that. Like with the way the world's going, I'm just happy to get more books out there.
Right. Fair. That's very fair. Okay, I love that. So you had mentioned, some online forums that you started
Yeah,
talking on when you were a kid.
when I was way
Previously,
too young to be on them, obviously.
we've all done it. Like if anyone's listening and they say they haven't, they're lying. We've all done it. But so the reason I brought that up is that you mentioned earlier before we started recording that you also know Nikki. So what's it like coming online and like creating a community for yourself from scratch? Like you have like you how did you find your community? How did you find those
Yeah.
resources? Things like
So
that.
I think I was really lucky, partially because at the same time that I decided to self-publish, there was a small PR company that started on Instagram called Enchanted Pages, and I got like scooped up by her very early, like right when she was starting her company, and she would mail out books to us like every month or so. So like it was really helpful to get that the bookstagram feel going. So before I started really sharing about my writing, I just kind of treated it like a regular bookstagram account and then sprinkled some writing stuff in and kind of started to build a following that way. But we had a group chat for Enchanted Pages, and that PR company doesn't really exist anymore. It was kind of just like a little blip. I think it was like a year and a half, and then life happened and it ended up closing down. But a lot of the girls who did that with me, we now have a new group chat, which has been going strong for like 2 years. We call it the Ass Chat. It's off for Struggle Street. And I think there's like 60, 70 girls in there, but only maybe like 20 of us talk.
That's still a huge community though.
Yeah. So we also obviously we have Tap That Ass, which is the engagement group as well. So we like post all of our content in there. And it's such an amazing community because we've got like we all started publishing at the same time. Like I could list off a bunch of people and like we're all in the spot where we have 2 to 4 books out. We're all within like 5 to 10,000 followers on Instagram. We're all figuring this out together and it has been so nice. So I was very, very grateful to kind of slip in with that group a couple of years ago. We're actually like loosely planning an anthology right now too. Like it's been
Yay!
so nice. It's been great.
I haven't been in the space for too long, a few years. I think it's about 3 or 4 years now. But I've noticed that like the community, once you build it, it stays around
Mm-hmm.
quite a while. And I think those people who get in there and actually build that community, they're very lucky. It's such an unusual experience that you can't really understand unless you're in it.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful to just be able to have like there's so much stuff you have to figure out by yourself when you're self-publishing, and you also just have so many moments of like indecision or like decision paralysis and imposter syndrome and stuff like that, and just be able to have a group that you could just message and be like, hey guys, this is how I feel. They'll either hype you up or they'll validate you or they'll tell you that you're right, which doesn't happen often. The reason I say that though is because I was when I got my covers commissioned for the first 2 books in my new series, I was at my release party for X by the Tide, and I had a bunch of my writing friends there, and I showed them the covers, and I was like look at these, and then what I said is I was like, I am putting all my eggs in one basket right now, and I'm so scared, and I feel like all my success rides on this. And all three of them nodded and went, "Yeah, it does." Guys, come on. You're supposed to make me feel better. They're like, "No, this is all you're doing for the next couple of years. Like, it better go well." And
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of like, "If this doesn't go well, I'm quitting." And one of the guys was like, "Yeah, I would too." Like, obviously we were just joking around, but it was just some, I'm like, "Yeah, you get it." Like, I'm
Yeah.
investing like all this money and time into this new project, and if it doesn't go well, what do I do?
Oh my gosh, they sound lovely. They've got like that a little touch of dark humor that's like you need it for the world we're in right now. So,
Yeah.
Lauren, one final question I always like to ask for everyone before we close out is what is your favorite part about indie publishing and the community and as a whole?
I think for me, it's probably I'm tossing up between two. I'm tossing up between like the people. I've met a lot of really good people, like both in person and online, but it's also just like the creative freedom. Like, I feel so free to be able to just do what I want to do, and I love that because like every book I've written written every book I've written has been such a passion project for me and just something that I've done for fun. Like I said, like in Tidebound, I added all those magical creatures because I was like, why not? And I've just constantly been very lucky to have people support that. I've never like made a decision in a book now where someone's been like, "Why'd you do that?" or "How dare you?" And I've made some like questionable plot decisions, I think. So it's just that the creative freedom to be able to do what I want, to get the covers that I want. Like, I love my cover, all the covers that I have now, but the covers for the new series have just like blown me away, and I'm so excited to share them. And I think about like traditional publishing and like the lack of control in those avenues sometimes, and it just makes me really grateful to be able to pick everything out myself.
Yeah, I haven't ever traditionally published, but I've talked to a couple of people who like they queried and they did try trad publishing, and they said that sometimes they'll even make you like change names of characters. They'll like cut people out entirely,
My editor
make you
made me
like
change character names. So she
everything.
was
And
like, there's no theme here for the characters. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And we changed like half of the characters' names in Tidebound because I had two continents and the naming conventions between the two continents were the exact same. So she was like, we need to make these different. And we didn't change the main character names, of course. We basically based all the other characters around the main characters' names so that the rules made more sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've been there.
That is actually okay. So I take back my criticism of the name change now that you've said that because in some cases I can understand it. Like that made sense. So I take that back.
Makes sense for fantasy. If you have an editor who's like, their name's Amanda, I don't like Amandas. Let's make it Emily. That would be
Yeah,
uncool.
that would not be cool. But like I just like you said there's so much creative freedom with indie publishing and I think it's a beautiful thing and more people need to read indie specifically for that because you don't get that type of unfound freedom and creativity in traditional publishing. So,
Yeah. I'm in a Discord group right now where we do like every month you order a book off of somebody's wish list off Amazon. And I've done it in the past with other groups and I just joined this new one. I'm not a huge supporter of Amazon despite publishing on them. That's a whole can of worms we won't open. But I was like, I'm gonna hijack the system. And my wish list like for this book group, every single book on there is indie. So every single month someone from my book group is forced to support an indie offer. I
forced.
love that. Yeah,
That's
because I'm like, oh,
awesome.
you join the group, you want to buy me a book, you're supporting indie in the process. You're not just supporting me and buying me a book, but you're supporting
Yeah.
someone else.
I
So
love that. That's amazing. Well, okay, so this is about the time in the show, Lauren, where I open the floor to you and give you the space
okay.
to talk about any upcoming events, make any announcements, talk to your readers. The floor is yours, so you can say whatever you'd like.
All right. Well, I feel like I kind of already talked about future stuff. I'm in a very in between period right now where I'm not doing anything. Like I said, Hexed by the Tide came out on May 7th, so that was almost exactly 2 months ago. And I just want to say thank you for the support, both from yourself, Tanya, and like Iris, like in general, like all the influencers. It was phenomenal. It was my best release yet. You know, it was also not like my only other releases were a debut and then a sequel, and sequels are always rough. So it had the chance to be the best release yet, but like I earned out before release even happened, like just from pre-orders, which is
No
crazy.
way.
Yeah, it was also the first time I ever did pre-orders. Like I always do Kickstarters, and it was my first time doing it through a few different bookstores online, as well as a local bookstore. So that was like phenomenal. And yeah, I had about 2 months straight where every single weekend I had an event to sell my books. So that also helped. But yeah, I'm in a little bit of an in between period right now where I'm not publishing anything. I'm just writing some Fire and Steel. Just got back from developmental edits last week. So I'm working for those. It goes for full edits in September, and then I'm starting on book 2 and just chugging along. I don't have anything coming out till spring, like early 2027. So I don't got anything to plug. Follow me on my newsletter.
Do you have any events coming up? You mentioned doing a lot of community events.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
I did. That's what I mean. Like I had my release. My release came out, and I did an event every single weekend for 8 weeks straight. And now it's summer, and I'm just enjoying it. I have, if you are in like the Brampton, Mississauga area, I do have a signing at Mapleview Indigo next month. I don't even know the date off the top of my head. I think it's first weekend of August. I'm so unprepared right now. And then other than that, I don't have a single event until October. So I'm taking a break.
Listen, fair. Like you said, you just did it every week for 8 weeks. That's a lot. That's more than most authors do in a whole year.
It was a lot.
So, I mean, you just you took yourself on a book tour.
I did. Really? It was all local too. Everything was within 2 hours of my house. It was lovely.
So, I mean, that's fair. Enjoy your time. Take the time to relax. Well, Lauren, I have had so much fun. I am looking forward to having all of your books in my hands next year when you start rapid publishing them. And I can't wait to see what comes for you in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, thanks for the chat. I really appreciated it. And it's so fun to get on and talk to people and keep an eye out on the podcast for whenever it comes out.
Heck yeah. We are currently migrating. So we were hosting everything on my Whitlet Women page, but we are currently migrating everything over to Iris. So there is a little backlog. We're rebranding everything, so it's going to be a little bit before it's live, but it will be live within the next, hopefully, couple of weeks to a month or so.